Hello and welcome to the After School Podcast. I know it's been a while since we made our last episode, but we've been busy, winter break, school, all that stuff. But I am back, me, Will Reynolds, joined by my very special guest, Andy McDowell,
Hello, I'm Andy.
and we're going to be talking about college football, professional football, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know yet. We're a little bit more, we're winging it today. I think we're usually more organized than this. But anyways, I guess okay. We'll start with this since it's a Wednesday right now. Wednesday the 9th. Wednesday the 9th. On Monday, the college football final was played. The championship was played between Clemson and Alabama. But before we get to that, we're gonna start with all the bowl games. Starting with I'm just gonna list them through, Andy, and you can tell me your thoughts. Most of these, I guess, neither of us care about.
Yeah,
I just want to go over it because it happened and we gotta talk about it. All right. Anyways, so in the Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl, Fresno State beat Arizona State 31-20. Thoughts?
not many.
Okay, there we go. And then in the Auto Nation Cure Bowl, Tulane beat Louisiana 41-24. It happened. All right. Then in the New Mexico Bowl, Utah State beat North Texas 52-13.
Not a close one.
Yeah, well, a lot of these aren't close. In the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl, Georgia Southern beat Eastern Michigan 23-21. Close one, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, one would have been exciting.
All right. In the R plus L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, there's too many names, bro. Appalachian State beat Middle Tennessee 45-13. Yeah. All right, and then in the Cheribundi Boca Raton Bowl, UAB beat Northern Illinois 37-13. And we're about to get into like the bigger bowl games, but we gotta move through these first. And then in the DXL Frisco Bowl, Ohio beat San Diego State 27-0.
Shut out.
Yeah, well, it was one of the more interesting bowl games. I watched a good few of these because it's like the only football that was on because these are all played on like weekdays.
Yeah.
In the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, Marshall beat South Florida 38-20, and I am more interested in the name than I am in the game.
Weird names.
In the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, Florida International beat Toledo 35-32. And then in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which is the best bowl game in my opinion, BYU beat Western Michigan 49-18. And you know why it's the best bowl game, Andy?
Potato.
No, because it's played at Boise State, which has the blue field.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it like the best field to play on. All right, and then like one of our first actual major conference teams playing, Wake Forest beat Memphis 37-34 in the Jared Birmingham Bowl. And here's one of the best bowl games in my opinion. In the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, I bet you'll never guess which team played in this one.
Okay.
Army beat Houston 70-14.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the more higher scoring bowls.
College football. They don't care about the heights. I mean, some of those scores we get ridiculously high in college football.
And And the score in the next game wasn't that high, or was, in the 40s and 30s, but the prices for the tickets I bet weren't that high because it was the Dollar General Bowl. Sorry for the very corny joke. Dollar General Bowl, and Troy beat Buffalo 42-32. And in the SoFi Hawaii Bowl, Louisiana Tech beat Hawaii 31-14. And then in the Quick Lane Bowl, Minnesota beat Georgia Tech 34-10. And then in another great bowl was the Cheez-It Bowl, in which TCU beat California 10-7. And now this is by far probably my favorite game, not just my favorite bowl, but this is my favorite game because it was the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, and it was supposed to be played in Dallas, right? In the Dallas Bowl, there's stadium down there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was canceled due to weather.
Yeah, I saw that.
So number 25, Boise State, did not play Boston College. And then in the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl, back to the Boston College Boise State bowl game got canceled, right? Okay, so the Boise State just offers like a free home game to all the Boise State fans, and that's like the only refund anybody got.
Oh,
They all flew down there, or a bunch of them, I bet, flew down there, just to see Boise State play Dallas, and the game just gets canceled.
that's tough.
Yeah, anyways, back to the other things. Okay, Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. Duke beat Temple 56-27. And in the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, Wisconsin beat Miami 35-3. And in the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl, Baylor beat Vanderbilt 45-38. And in the Valero Alamo Bowl, Washington State beat Iowa State 28-26. And in the Camping World Bowl, Syracuse beat West Virginia 34-18. All right, folks, here's where we get into the, bigger bowl games. Okay, in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, Auburn beat Purdue 63-14. And this may not sound like a big deal, but it was a big deal. I was down in Nashville on the day it was played. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
My sister went. I didn't go. I didn't really care. It's Auburn. No one cares about Auburn except for Auburn fans. That's the way it is with a bunch of sports. All right, now here's where it gets really good, because Saturday, December 29th, the Capital One Orange Bowl, also known as the college football semifinal. Alabama beat number 4 Oklahoma 45-34.
Yeah, this game was a lot closer than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, and then the one that was a shocker to some people and not a shocker to other people was in the Cotton Bowl Classic, where Clemson beat Notre Dame 30-3. Which was...
yeah, I'd agree. That's not too surprising. Clemson's a powerhouse.
Yeah, Clemson is a powerhouse, but we'll get to that later. And then in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Florida beat Michigan 41-15. And then in the Belk Bowl, Virginia beat South Carolina 28-0, another shutout game, which I'd like to see a lot more of in the bowl games now. Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl, in which Nevada beat Arkansas State 16-13. And
pretty close score.
Yeah, there's some pretty close scores in here. And then in the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, why are there so many words in that? Northwestern beat Utah 31-20. And then in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Texas A&M beat NC State 52-13. Another good one. All right, and then in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Oklahoma State beat Missouri 38-33. And then in the Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman, Cincinnati beat Virginia Tech 35-31. And then in the Hyundai Sun Bowl, Stanford beat Pittsburgh 14-13. Very close game. And then our final game for 2018, but not our last bowl game, was played between Oregon and Michigan State in the Red Box Bowl. And you want to know how close that game was?
How close was it?
7-6. Oregon beat Michigan State.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they must have 2 lockdown defenses on those teams.
I guess
bad
so.
on.
I didn't watch that one, but it looks interesting. All right, now this is where from now on only ranked teams have played bowls. All right. On January 1st, in the VRBO Citrus Bowl, Kentucky beats Penn State 27-24.
That one I'm happy about.
Yeah. And then in that one, Benny Snell Jr. broke Kentucky's rushing record. So I think they have
It's a good game.
pretty strong running back there. Big contender in the NFL draft. And I'm meeting him on Saturday.
That's cool.
Because he's going to be at Academy. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. In the All-State Sugar Bowl, Texas beat Georgia 24-21, which was a big shocker because, Georgia's supposed to be. Come on.
Yeah,
Georgia's a pretty good season.
Mm.
Georgia had a pretty good season. They were ranked number 5 final.
Yeah, just missing those playoffs.
No, it wasn't final. It was at the time of the playing because ESPN scores show the ranking when they played. My bad. And then in the Rose Bowl, Ohio State beat Washington 28-23. And then in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, LSU beat UCF 40-32. Then in the Outback Bowl, Iowa beat Mississippi State 27-22. So some pretty decent games, I think. And then the most decent of the games was on Monday, January 7th, 6 days after all the bowl games are over.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson takes on number 1 Alabama. Number 2 Clemson takes on number 1 Alabama in the national championship. And they win 44-16.
This one was so shocking.
That defense absolutely shut down Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how to say his name. I'm just gonna say Tua, because he threw 2 picks that were run back for like really good yardage and 1 pick six. Or he threw 1 pick that was just run back for some good yards and another that was a pick six. But
I was thinking Alabama would win that game, and I was thinking it was going to be close, but Clemson blew them out.
It wasn't even all in the quarterback. It was also that defense kind of shocked Alabama. The pressure they put on Alabama was just, I think that was a championship team the way they played.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, surprising to some, but I mean the way they play, man, it's obvious what the outcome was going to be when you really looked at it at the end of the half.
Yeah.
At the end of the half, it was like 31-16. Alabama did not score in the second half. It was crazy. All right, so hold on. We've spent 15 minutes, just discussing college football. So now we're gonna discuss the rest of the podcast, doing a more interesting football, in our opinion, because college. There's so many colleges, so many games. You can't
Yeah.
keep up with all of it, but
I mean, we have a 14 playoff, but this is exciting. What we're talking tonight.
well, they should have like a 16-team playoff or a 12-team playoff. You know it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think the reason why they have that going on right now is because there's so many bowl games and only one of them is a non-bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only non-bowl game is the championship. But
Yeah.
anyways, point is we're gonna move on to NFL, which happened over last weekend. 4 playoff games, the wild card games in each conference, and I'll tell you what, only one of the games wasn't close.
Yeah. They were good games.
And okay, so let's start with Saturday the 5th with Colts, Texans, and Seahawks, Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
One AFC, one NFC. All right, so first in the evening, we see the Colts beat the Texans 21-7.
Yeah.
Which actually was kind of shocking because everybody had their faith in the Texans. They're finally back in the playoffs after a somewhat of a drought. Not really a drought, but
Yeah. I was thinking the Texans all the way through, but I mean, after I look back at what the Colts have been doing lately, it wasn't a shocker that they won. Andrew Luck, there's a reason why he's kind of in MVP conversations. I mean, they've
yeah.
won before the game, like 9 of their last 10.
Yeah,
That team's
that team knows what they're doing. Their defense is just studded, bro.
yeah.
They know how to play the game.
They're gonna be difficult to handle forever. They're playing next. I can't remember.
Who are they playing next? Anyways, and then they're playing the Chiefs, so that's gonna be pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna finish the playoff games, and then we're gonna go into predictions. It'll get really crazy. All right, then later that night, the Dallas Cowboys play the Seahawks at home, and that was a very close game. I forgot the final score. Was it? If you know, I don't know. Let me look real quick, because it was close, but I forgot the exact score. It was 24-22.
Yeah, I thought this game would be close. I was thinking the Seahawks would pull it out thanks to Russell Wilson, but I was wrong. Cowboys played good all around.
I mean, Russell Wilson has some pretty good plays, but I mean, with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, that's a dangerous combo. And Amari Cooper had some amazing catches.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
That Seahawks team's not what it used to be.
Right. Plus, Dallas isn't what it was last year. I think
Prescott's inconsistent, but when he plays good, Cowboys are a tough team.
Yeah, the Cowboys, when they need to play, they play. And they play at the Rams next because of something that happened in the second day of the wild card games, which was the craziest day in the wild card games. So which one was first? Was the Ravens first?
Yeah, it was Ravens Chargers.
Okay, so the Ravens played the Chargers, and that ended with a crazy play because the Ravens had 50 seconds to score, something like that. It was something like that, and
yeah,
Lamar Jackson fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
and it ended 23-17.
I
Chargers.
mean, the rookie quarterback couldn't handle the pressure there. He couldn't get that game-winning drive.
Yeah, I mean, I see how Lamar Jackson is a viable option to build a franchise around because he's fast. If he works on his throwing game, I bet he could get to like a point where he can be a legitimate playoff quarterback. You know,
And I heard a report that they contemplated putting Flacco in at some point during that game because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing well.
right? I
And I wonder if
mean,
that would have
the Chargers defense just got to him. I think he could. Well, he's a good replacement for Joe Flacco, but I think they're better in their own ways.
Yeah,
Ever saying a lot. It's just that's kind of Andy knows what I mean. Anyways,
but
yeah. So I think Lamar Jackson, he has some stuff to prove, but I think he could be good. He could be good in a few years. Yeah.
now let's get to the real exciting game.
This was the best game out of the playoffs. The Eagles faced the Bears at the Bears. The Bears had only lost. Was it the Bears had only lost like one home game? And I'm not gonna spoil the ending until we finish talking about it.
I think people know the ending.
Oh, I still want to talk about it. Anyways, so they keep it close. The Eagles keep it very close. And Nick Foles does what Nick Foles does best, which is get to the Super Bowl.
Considering he was playing an elite defense, I mean, I know you look at his stats; they're not great, but he was playing against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are the Bears.
Their defense is the elite of the elite.
Right, but their offense isn't that great.
Yeah, I mean they have Mike Trubisky.
Trubisky kind of suffered in that game. The Eagles'
Quarterback you
defense
don't
held
want
him.
playoffs.
The Eagles held him down pretty well, I think, and that's where they fell because it was 16-15, only a few seconds left on the clock, like 5 seconds. They bring out their kicker, like the second worst kicker in the league, Cody Parkey, and
Yeah,
he kicks the ball, field goal, to win the game because you're only 1 point deficit to the Eagles. He 26 yards out. He misses the goal. He hits the upright, and then it hits the crossbar. It hits both,
yeah, it's no good.
and people were really mad at him because of it. But if you go back and look at a replay, the Eagles tipped it, right?
Yeah,
Which it means it's not totally his fault, but he's still terrible, in my
yeah,
opinion.
but that guy was just put just enough of a finger on to get that ball.
But I think
Insane game.
it's a really good job on the Eagles' part, however.
To get that finger on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he knew what he was doing. He saw what was at stake there, and now the Eagles may make a late playoff drive or a late Super Bowl drive because last year they made an easy Super Bowl drive. 13-3, good record, good placement. Yeah, they got the bye.
Yeah,
This year they're 9-7. Had to play that wild card round and won it barely, which could be a bad sign because they play who do they play next? They play the Saints at the Saints.
we ready to make our predictions?
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay. Well, I guess we should say who's playing who. The Chargers play at the Patriots. The Colts play at the Chiefs. The Eagles play at the Saints. And the Cowboys play at the Rams. All right, so make some sense out of this. Go first.
Okay. So the Chargers face the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
I think the Chargers are going to win that game. The Patriots, they've looked beatable all season. I mean, they still have Tom Brady, they still have Rob Gronkowski, but they're not the same team. And the Chargers have looked extremely well. You have Melvin Gordon, a great running back, Philip Rivers, a great quarterback, and I think the Chargers are going to pull out that win. They're like for being a wild card team, they're super good.
Right. But I think some questionable calls will happen because they're playing at the Patriots, remember.
Yeah, but I don't think the Patriots are going to do enough to win this one.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah. All right, anyways. Or I think the Chargers could pull it off. You know. But the Patriots are 8-0 at home, which is a bad sign.
So who's your prediction?
I'm going to have to go with the Chargers as well. Because even with the refs on the Patriots side and all that, the Chargers are just the better team at the end of the day.
I agree with that.
And the only reason they don't have the bye is because they have the same exact record as the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs are a good team.
Yeah, which, it was obvious. It was almost obvious that the Chargers would come out on top in the wild card round because of just how good they are. They were just
the Ravens are no closer. They won.
Strong division.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the other game on the same day, and then we'll go to the other game on the other day. Or we'll go to the games on the other day. Anyways, back to... All right, so the other game being played on that day is the Eagles at the Saints. And I'm going to say... I say that the Saints are most likely to win it, right? Because they have Drew Brees, a bunch of great players, Alvin Kamara, however you say it, because I got yelled at one time because I said it wrong. And like Michael Thomas, they got a good team. They got a good D line, or like decent, not great or anything. Like they can win games, but then the Eagles could come through because Nick Foles, their defense, everything. If everything just works out right, I don't know.
I mean, I want the Eagles doing so much just because of the storyline behind it with Nick Foles and everything. The backup quarterback doing it again, but Saints are such. They have so
I'm
much
gonna go with
talent.
Saints.
Same. My heart wants the Eagles to win, but the Saints are the better team by far.
But then again, we said that about the Bears.
Yeah, and I still say the Bears are the better team by far. But Nick Foles is something else in the playoffs.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's one game.
All right, now next to the other day, we're going in reverse because those were the games played on Sunday, January 13th. Chargers at 1:05 p.m. and the Eagles at 4:40 p.m. All these times are in Eastern time. And so next we're going to go to Saturday, January 12th at 4:35 p.m. The Colts take on Chiefs.
Yep.
And yeah, so I'll let you go first.
Okay. So the Chiefs are a good team. They still have Patrick Mahomes. Not having Kareem Hunt, I mean, everyone knows the instant. It's going to hurt them. But they have Tyreek Hill. They have Travis Kelce. Their offense is legit. They don't have much of a defense. But I'm going to go with the Colts here. It's an upset call. But after reading and looking at the Colts, they've been so hot. Luck has been playing extremely well. And, I mean, you got to play the hot hand. And I think that's the culture right now.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you come from in that respect, but I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs in this one, even though I've bashed on the Chiefs before in podcasts. Even like in person and in podcasts. I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs in this one because I think the Colts are good, but I don't think they're good enough because their defense is all right. They got like a few good players on defense. They got Darius Leonard and such, but I think even with a decent offense and defense, I think the Chiefs' great offense and their meh defense can just top them off. Plus, they have the home field advantage. I think that's just everything's working out in their favor.
True.
Yeah. All right. In the
It's
next
gonna be
game.
exciting.
Oh well, yeah. Wait, say what are you gonna say?
I just said it's gonna be exciting.
It will be. It will be. And the more exciting, and pretty exciting game. I don't know if it's a more exciting game. Will be the Cowboys. Or this is 8:15. I don't know if that's important, but it's at 8:15. It's gonna be the Cowboys at the Rams, and the Rams. I think are a really good team, right? But they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't think that's excusable because the Rams are the better team by far. And I
Isn't
don't
that the
think
Nick Foles Eagles though?
I forgot, but I don't think you should let a team like that beat you. I think they should be 14-2 right now. Because they started all of their starters. Their defense is great. Their offense is great. They should have won that game. And I think that shows some weak spots. And I think the Cowboys can prey on those weak spots because their defense has held a bunch of good teams to a standstill. Even though they gotten beat, they got shut out by the Colts and such, but I think they beat the Saints. They stopped the Saints from scoring. They only let the Saints score like one touchdown when they played. Or I don't even think the Saints scored one touchdown when they played the Saints. So I
I
think
hate.
while the Rams are the better team, I think the Cowboys can win against them. What do you think?
No, the Rams. They're so talented. I mean, they uh have Jared Goff. They have Todd Gurley. Can't think of any other players right now. Their team's just so talented. They have so much talent, and they did lose to the Eagles, but the Bears also lost to the Eagles. And the Cowboys can be good at some points, but they're so inconsistent. You never know how they're going to play. And the Rams just have more talents all over the place. The Rams are going to win by 1+ touchdown.
But I see what you mean. However, I think currently the Cowboys situation is they've got a defense that can prevent a certain amount of scoring, and they've got
And
they've got an offense that can just consistently get first downs. It may not be it may not be a great scoring offense, but their offense can they get. Are they like the leader in third down conversions or something like that? Something crazy. I don't know. They get like a ton of third down conversions.
um, sorry, I always get the Rams and the Saints confused. Which team has Aaron Donald?
The Rams.
Rams. See, I think that's also going to be a big X factor.
Yeah.
Going up against Zeke as a big part of your offense, and your kind of questionable O line. I think Aaron Donald is going to feast.
Yeah,
It's also going to be.
anything could happen though. That's the craziest part about the NFL.
Yeah, and I think all these games are going to be exciting, but I think it's
Oh
going
yeah,
to go to the Rams.
definitely. But and then in other news, I know you like the Steelers, so you probably know about the Antonio Brown situation.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
I like I like the Steelers, but not happy with them.
uh,
They're
yeah.
they have they have so much talent, but they have the same sort of like it, their team's not fitting well. I mean, it's almost like the Wizards in the NBA. You have all this talent, but the locker room's all messed up. I mean, you have a star running back who didn't play a game this year because you won't get him to sign a contract. Your quarterback and your wide receiver are getting mad at each other. This team has so much talent, but there's something going on in the middle and inside that we can't see. And the Steelers are going to have to make changes unless they want this team to fall apart.
And I think that might possibly mean some coaching changes.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't trade Antonio Brown. They should make coaching changes. They should trade Antonio Brown, I think, unless their coaching changes can figure something out. If not, trade him. He has a lot of value.
Yeah, they could get a lot for Antonio Brown. Like a lot of teams need a good receiver.
I'm tired of people on the Steelers not wanting to play for the Steelers.
No, but anyways, I know I didn't explain it well. I try to give some insight to outside viewers, outside sports. Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, cover athlete for Madden NFL 19, all that stuff. Very talented guy. He is requesting a trade after I don't know if these things are directly correlated, but the Pittsburgh Steelers did not make it to the playoffs. As Andy said, there are some locker room problems. Players are not getting along with each other, and it's not a great situation up there.
And didn't they like bench him against the Bengals?
Uh,
I thought something like that happened.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
It's just bad.
But any other news you want to cover?
Not that I know.
All right, well, I guess I'll go over how a bunch of teams fired their coaches, including but not limited to the Broncos, the Bengals, the Browns, who else? Who else did that? The Jets, the Dolphins, other teams. A bunch of teams fired their head coaches after some subpar seasons. And I think.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm just saying you can't blame the coaches so much. The Jets, Dolphins, they don't have talent. You can't expect the coaches to lead them to the playoffs if you don't have talent.
That's a good point, but
And they could sign any coach. I don't think any of those teams are making the playoffs next year. Well, maybe not any of them.
yeah, well, I think they need some time to rebuild. These teams, like the Jets and such,
Mm-hmm.
they just need time to rebuild their team. Like the Bills, they made some very poor choices in quarterbacks, like how they cut Nathan Peterman. Should not have done that.
Terrible.
Terrible move. I think the Oakland Raiders made a great move by picking him up.
16-0 next year.
Definitely 16-0 with all those Alabama linemen. They're gonna pick up with all those first round picks.
Pretty sure I heard that they're going to draft all of Alabama.
Yeah, probably. Except for Tua. Like, no more picks. No, but I think they're like fourth, right? They get like the fourth pick in the first round. That's like the top 10 picks. So I think like Tua might already go.
I agree with it.
The Cardinals get the first pick. I bet they're gonna pick Tua.
Yeah.
Because I think they see what happened last year with the first pick, how Baker Mayfield basically saved the franchise of the Browns. Like I'm not saying it was all him, but he did a great job being the quarterback.
Who's the Cardinals starting quarterback right now?
I don't even know.
I think that proves the point.
I just know they have David Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, they need to fix something.
Yeah. But you know, I guess we can talk a little bit about. I guess we can talk a little bit about some draft predictions if you want to.
I don't know. I don't think I. I mean, I haven't watched college football as much about you. I'm not gonna
Uh,
put much insight into it.
like, what teams do you think will pick what position and all that? I don't know. Just try to make some
I
interesting
mean,
podcast content.
I think that's a good idea for later. But I mean, a lot of it's tough predicting because a lot of those bad teams just need every position. That's why they're bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into that later this year. But all right. I want to go over. I want to go over a little bit of NBA stuff, like how. All right. So, would you like to start with any NBA things? Any NBA little interesting things that happened recently or anything?
Yes, because this team has been on fire as of late.
All right. Then go right ahead.
All I gotta say, James Harden's been averaging like 40 the past like 11 games, something like that.
MVP
He's going on
conversation.
an MVP conversation. He's going on a Kobe Bryant like run. He's leading his team to wins, and they're playing right now.
Yeah. And I want to go into an interesting little one. It's that on the 8th. So last night, Landry Shamet for the 76ers versus the Wizards dropped 29 points,
Yep,
which I
it's a
think
higher.
uh, to higher a career high than Jason Tatum.
That's insane.
It's pretty insane. And then you know how many got the night before or the game before?
Mm-mm.
7. And then the
Wow. Yeah.
game after the one tonight, I guess it's already been played or is it being played? I'm not sure, but he has 5 points or had 5 points. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would say something special, but it probably isn't.
He's been playing for like 24 minutes consistently. So
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, he could go to the Timberwolves and play like 48 minutes, but you know.
I mean, nope, they fired the video. That's the news.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yep. No players are going to play 48 minutes anymore.
Ah, oh darn it! I was hoping D Rose would also go to Philly. But did you know
Mm,
Derrick Rose had 100,000 something more All Star votes than James Harden?
that's ridiculous. As a Rockets fan, that's ridiculous. James Harden averaging 33, like 5 and 9.
Like
I like Derrick Rose, but his stats aren't all-star stats. They're close to all-star stats, but they're not.
well, I bet 500,000 of those people picked both players because you're supposed to pick 10 players.
Uh, no. Well, yeah, but only 5 from the West. A lot of them probably picked Steph Curry and D Rose. And those are their guards.
Maybe, but like I don't know, man. I don't know. I picked Steph Curry and Seth Curry. I'm hoping to get to see that happen.
That'd be also, Dwayne Wade has a lot of votes, I mean, both of them kind of make sense because I get Dwayne Wade's on his last season.
Right. I
I
think
understand you're expecting him. I didn't vote for him, but I understand it.
yeah, I didn't vote for him either.
But what doesn't make sense is why people are voting for Luka Doncic. He's a rookie. He's putting up good stats. I mean, they're not as good stats as Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
and
But now
and he has more votes than Kevin Durant.
but now I know we're being kind of all over the place with NBA stuff, but do you think if the Atlanta Hawks didn't trade Luka Doncic for Trae Young at the beginning of the season, then they would be much better than they are right now?
Yeah, Luka's an NBA player, a better NBA player right now, more ready. Trae Young can be
Really.
good, but even his 3-point percentage is not good.
I mean, like Trey Young was just like way too hyped up. Like is he a good player? Yes, but was he like was he the next big thing? No. And that's why I am skeptical of Zion Williamson.
Yeah, I, I mean, people comparing to LeBron, they don't play alike.
They do
But
not
I'm
play like
afraid
at all.
something what happened to Wiggins. Wiggins, Zion, both high flying, can dunk, athletic. Both probably Wiggins went first overall. Zion probably is. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's more stuff than just being athletic. There's the skill of basketball. Zion's good at basketball, but his skill isn't fantastic. He's not the next LeBron.
Yeah, well, people have been comparing him to LeBron since, LeBron's probably one of the, maybe is the best player in NBA history. I mean, it's like, it's not really a disputable fact. He's just that good of a player.
He's really
Like, I mean, maybe he's not the best. You know what I'm saying? He's just, one of the best
one of
players
the
ever. But they like to compare Zion, but they don't realize that it's not all Zion. Like the RJ Barrett's putting up a lot.
camera at it.
Yeah, right. Like it's not all Zion. Zion may be the guy. He's like the more flashy guy. He's the one you see 360 dunking on people. He's not. You don't see RJ Barrett, like the leading scorer of most of the Duke's games.
It's
He's
kind of
yeah,
it's kind of crazy that this Duke team has lost, and they have. I mean, they
yeah,
have these three great rookies, and they've still lost. They're not rookies, freshmen.
because a great team is not all in the freshmen.
Mm-hmm. You're saying that wearing a Kentucky shirt on.
I never said Kentucky was a great team.
Yep.
Anyways, all right. I guess it's been about like 40 minutes, 47 minutes.
Yeah, I said
So
it's good.
I say let's wrap it up, and I'll give you the last story of the night. I think it's the craziest story. All right, so because me and Andy discussed this like a while, like the previous weekend. Um, so Enes Kanter on the New York Knicks.
Oh
As
wow.
we all know, the New York Knicks are playing in the London game against who again I forgot, but against a team. They're playing in the London game, and as not many of you know, Enes Kanter is not a U.S. citizen because he's from Turkey,
Yep.
and he's not going to London because he's afraid that Turkish spies will kill him because he's had it in with that president, Turkey,
Yeah.
and
And he's not being. I'll go ahead.
okay, also I think there is one way he could go to London, but as he said, he said stuff like he said stuff like if he goes and then Turkish spies get a hold of him, we'll never see him again, which is it's kind of scary
Yeah.
because people are in danger here, and that's actually crazy that a basketball player is that hated by like a Turkish leader guy. Yeah. Any thoughts
I
on
mean, the
this?
Turkish thing is still messed up. I mean, Ennis Cantor's not being unreasonable. If I were him, I would not go. I'm sorry.
But all right, I think there's one way that Enes Kanter could go and be okay. And this has happened in the past. Like I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying that the US President Donald Trump has bailed out basketball players in the past. He's bailed out when UCLA was in China to play a game in China. Or what was his name?
LaMelo.
Leangelo.
Oh yeah, Leangelo, not Melo.
Right. LeAngelo Ball and other UCLA players were arrested and put in Chinese custody for shoplifting, and the U.S. president, negotiated with the Chinese president and got them free. So they didn't have to, serve a sentence over there and could continue playing for UCLA.
Well, which they didn't. But I gotta disagree with you.
They had a
The
small
Turkish government.
suspension. I just think that he could be able to give Enes Kanter a little bit extra protection over there.
I guess the protection makes more sense, but you can't bail him out. The Turkish
No,
government.
no, he can't bail him out. Turkish government gets him. Enes Kanter. We're not gonna see any Enes Kanter anymore.
I mean, he's not. The Knicks don't need him. They're tanking right now. They have a
Yeah,
better chance to lose, which is what they want to do. So I say just let him stay in America where he's safe.
I'm just saying that. I just think it's cool that you know, government actually cares about sports guys
Yeah.
because we're all in America. We're all okay, and I
Mhm.
hope I wish the best to Enes Kanter, and I hope that he becomes a U.S. citizen one day and escapes the grasps of Turkey and finds a better country that's not named after a Thanksgiving food.
Truth.
All right, now I can wrap it up. Any final thoughts about anything we've talked about?
No.
Okay, well, all right, we always do this on the podcast. This is your first podcast, or this is your first after school podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, we're filming this after school. Uh, where can they find you? Like, what's your Instagram? I'd like you to let us know.
I believe it's at Annie McDowell 2003. I think.
Okay, and I am @_ Will Reynolds and @Will Reynolds 311 on Twitter. And make sure to follow After School Pod on Instagram for updates and whatnot about the podcast. Get notified whenever the podcast comes out. And another reason why we haven't been so active recently is because we couldn't really figure out like a good format. So we're doing YouTube for now. We're trying to do it all on Spotify and stuff, which we can do Spotify. We had to pay for it. So once we find a good source of funding, my parents, then we're going to move over from YouTube. But I think YouTube is the best option right now because SoundCloud limits the hours, so we can only have 2 hours content, which means only like 2 episodes can be on Spotify, or not Spotify, SoundCloud at a time. But YouTube does not have a limit. So just bear with us. Watch them on YouTube. Doesn't matter. It's content. Content's content. And if anybody wants to come on the podcast, message us at After School Pod on Instagram. All right. Is that it? That cover everything?
Yeah.
All right. This is Will Reynolds and
Andy McDowell.
signing off.